Hi, I'm Jacob Berkman, the Fundermentalist of JTA, and we are here Tuesday morning, the final day of the General Assembly of the Jewish Federations of North America, and we have a very special guest. We have your new Jewish community hero, Jay.
Thank you, Jacob. It's very exciting to be chosen as the Jewish community hero. But in reality, I think everyone here are heroes in their own way. But it is very exciting, and thank you all for doing what you're doing.
It's not actually me. We just get to shoot the promo video. But speaking of promo, why don't we talk about your organization, Gift of Life? So tell us a little bit about what Gift of Life is.
Sure. Gift of Life is one of the international bone marrow donor registries that helps find donors for patients suffering from diseases like leukemia and lymphoma, whose only hope of a cure is a transplant. And I first got involved because I myself was diagnosed with leukemia. And when I went for a consult with an oncologist at a major cancer center in New York, I was told that thankfully a transplant could save my life, but unfortunately I would never get one because I was Jewish.
So, I mean, do you remember what was that fear like? Hearing that, yes, there's a cure out there, but it might not be for you just because there's so few of you.
It was partially fear, but it was also frustration, not understanding at that moment why my ethnic background would play a role in my ability to have an equal opportunity at a transplant. But when the doctor explained that your tissue type is inherited and your best chance of finding a match is someone who shares a similar background, I completely understood, and we recognized very quickly, my family, who was in the room with the doctor there, that we had to do something about it. And the doctor explained the process, the search process, and everything, and explained what I would be going through. But basically, what he told me was that I would really have to just go home and undergo chemotherapy and prepare my bucket list, so to speak, because I wouldn't find a match.
So instead of preparing a bucket list, you started to try to prepare a list of possible donors.
Yeah, well, something that's really interesting is that he understood very well, all about cancer and transplants, but he didn't understand the power of the Jewish community and also the power of what we all know as the Jewish mother. And my mother was in the room at the time that I was meeting with the doctor, and it was from that point forward that we knew that we had to increase the representation of the Jewish people in the registry. The Holocaust had severed bloodlines, making the search for patients of Jewish heritage like looking for a needle in a haystack. So, clearly we wanted to do something, my family wanted to do something to help save my life, but we also wanted to help all of the other patients who were in similar circumstances, give them a second chance and an opportunity to help save their lives.
Now, what year was this?
This was back in '91.
So this is before the internet, before social media, before you could just find 8,000 email addresses and blast out a message asking for help. Do you remember what the first steps were there? How do you start a mass campaign like this without the advances that we have today?
Well, it actually started out, interestingly enough, at my local federation. I was living in New Jersey at the time.
You've won already. You don't have to plug them.
But it really is the way it started. We went to our federation and we said we want to run bone marrow drives. How do we access the community? How do we connect with the community to get people out there? And that's really how it started. It started as a single drive with our federation locally in New Jersey, and then before we knew it, it exploded. And I think that's what makes the Jewish community so special, is that the Jewish community comes out in full force whenever there's someone in need. And they recognized that there was a need, and they came out to help save my life. And at the time, it was a blood test to see if you were a match. And what was amazing to me were the total strangers in the Jewish community, people who I didn't know and I may never have the opportunity to ever meet or thank, who came out to help save my life and the lives of all of the other patients who were in similar circumstances. And it's just an amazing thing. It's something that makes the Jewish community very special.
So at what point did you decide, okay, well, this is great to save my life, yet let's see if we can help others?
It was really very early on in the process when I was diagnosed, and actually we had found matches for hundreds of patients during the course that we were searching for a donor for me. And it actually took 4 years while I was on chemotherapy that we were searching for a donor. The amazing part of the story is that literally the very last drive that we ran in early 1995, which wasn't even a drive that we were planning. I was planning on doing a transplant with a donor who was mismatched with me. But a family friend in Chicago decided to run one last drive, and the very last person at that drive turned out to be my match. So after I had my transplant with Becky, my donor, I couldn't see doing anything but helping continue to increase the representation of the Jewish people on the worldwide donor pool, and we've been doing it ever since.
I mean, do you remember what it was like to watch other people find matches during your search, and then you're still waiting?
You know what? It actually, on the one hand, I was a little bit depressed because I couldn't find my own match. But the thing that lifted me up was the fact that we were helping so many other patients. That's really what got me through the process. I have to say that potentially without that, I don't know if I would have had the positive attitude that really got me through it. So it was great to see. And even here at the conference today, I got to meet one of our transplant recipients who just came up to me in the hallway, and he's doing well. He's 9 years post-transplant and doing great. Another one of our transplant recipients is here also, and she was participating in the Lion of Judah conference, so it's really fantastic.
So how many people have you helped find matches at this point?
We're closing in on 2,200 transplants.
And out of how many people need transplants a year?
A lot more than we can actually help, so there's a long way to go. We search for about 10,000 patients a year. So there is a lot more to do. We've come a long way. One of the amazing stories is that, as you know, when I got sick, I was told that there was almost no chance that I would find a match. But today, one of the transplant recipients was recounting to me that her doctor in Boston told her that the chances were upwards of 70% because of Gift of Life's initiatives. So she was able to find a match, and so many others are now because of what the Jewish community has really undertaken. It more than transcends me. It's really the Jewish community that made this possible.
So you're the Jewish community hero. You've got a nice cash prize that will help you build the organization. What will you do with this money?
Well, clearly, I think for all nonprofits, one of the biggest challenges is fundraising. So naturally, that prize comes in very handy because we have quite a large number, actually about 6,000 or 7,000 donors on the wait list right now. So that will help us test about 600 new donors who otherwise would never have the opportunity to join the registry and potentially find a match for any one of the patients that we're searching for right now. And we're searching for a number of children actually at this moment in the Jewish community. So any one of them could be a match. So it's very exciting.
So do you have a message for people who might be waiting for a match?
Yes, I think that patients, whether they're in the Jewish community or really any community, and a lot of what we've done really has motivated people from other ethnic and racial groups to do the same thing that we've done. But we encourage all patients to stay positive, help get involved if they're able to, or if not, then contact their local federation, their family and friends to get out there and run drives and help us bring our vision to life, which is that no patient should die for lack of a donor for a transplant, and that whenever somebody needs one, we will be there and we will find a match for them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your community hero.